welcome to Zambia today. My name is Alice Banda, and today we are speaking to Mr. Toshihiro Kitamura, the Foreign Press Secretary, Chief Spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Japan. Of course, we are going to discuss a lot of issues, among them why they are in Zambia. So welcome to this interview, Mr. Kitamura. Yeah. Thank you so much thank you for giving us this opportunity. First things first, you paid a courtesy call, or let me say your team paid a courtesy call on our Foreign Affairs Minister, Mr. Mlambo Haimbe. Could you please outline the outcomes of the meeting and provide an overview of the bilateral relations that Japan and Zambia share?
This is the very first visit for Japanese foreign minister in 42 years, and Foreign Minister Motegi Toshimitsu, he is now currently visiting Zambia, and this is the start point of his journey this time. After Zambia, he is going to visit Angola, followed by Kenya and South Africa. But we consider that Zambia is a very good starting point to start this journey, because we have a long-standing friendly relationship between two countries since 1964, since the independence of Zambia. And in 2024, we have celebrated the 60th anniversary of the diplomatic relations between two countries. So based on such good, long-standing friendly relations, we both ministers agreed upon to promote further the cooperation between two countries, not only the bilaterally, but also to address the challenge in that international arena.
Okay, so on the 13th of August this year, Zambia goes to the elections. Mm-hmm. We are having general elections. Does Japan have any comments regarding the election process? And please tell us about specific initiatives such as election monitoring.
Mm-hmm. I know that Zambia has conducted peacefully general elections in the past, and successfully transferred the power from one side to another side. So we strongly hope that this election will be conducted in a peaceful manner, both on election day and throughout election period. And in response to your question about election monitoring, if we are requested, we are ready to respond to such request positively, and we consider positively the possibility of dispatching election monitoring team to these countries, including the member of the staff of the Japanese embassy based in here.
Japan has previously provided support to Zambia in the education sector, in agriculture, infrastructure, and many other sectors. Are there any new initiatives to strengthen the relationship between Zambia and Japan?
As you said, in Zambia, Japan has provided assistance in a variety of areas, starting from the education, agriculture, and human resource development, and mining. Now, as for the mining, for example, Japan has already provided equipment for, how can I say, ore analysis, or mineral exploration and mining. And also we have provided assistance for human resource development. And one example is so-called Kizuna program, which is a long-term training program. And some Zambians have participated in such training program in Zambia, and they are now very active in variety of areas in Zambian government and organizations. So we'd like to continue this kind of cooperation. And in addition to that, we are very aware of the importance of the environmental consideration in mining. So we all know that last year we have witnessed so-called collapse of the dam for the mining. So we are ready to work in addressing those things as well. So Japanese government policy is not only mining, but also realizing the sustainable development through mining by paying due attention to every aspect, including these environmental issues. So we would like to continue this kind of comprehensive support to Zambia, and we believe that value addition is quite important in realize the sustainable development of Zambia. So we also invite or encourage Japanese company to invest more in Zambia in promoting such win-win type of the project in these countries, in mining sector as well.
Mr. Kitamura, Japan and Zambia have always advocated for peace. And what is your comment over the current conflict that is happening in the Middle East?
Okay. First of all,
and it's also affecting world economy, global economy.
Of course. But before responding your questions, I would like to comment Zambia's effort, because I know that Zambia consistently supported peace process in this region. So we consider, I know that it is, how can I say, worthy of the title or the beacon of the peace. So we commend Zambia's effort in this regard. As for the Middle East issues, including Iran, we consider that early de-escalation of the situation is quite important, including the free passage of the not only the Japanese vessel, but also the vessel of the entire world for the Strait of Hormuz. So to realize that our Prime Minister had the 2 telephone conversations with her counterpart, President of Iran, and Minister Motegi, he had even 4 telephone conversations with his counterpart, Minister Araguchi of Iran. So we are now trying to effort to convey this kind of message, the importance of early de-escalation, and necessary of the safety passage of the safety passing of the Hormuz Strait. So we have conducted this kind of efforts, and as you said, these Middle East issues affect a lot, not only Japan, but also in Zambia as well, because they will bring some instability in the energy sectors, and that affect a lot in agriculture sector, because it is difficult to get the fertilizer, for example. So once again, we'd like to realize the early de-escalation of the situation. So in this context, I'd like to work together with Zambia and the other African countries to realize this common objective of early de-escalation.
Trade between Zambia and Japan is steadily growing. And do you have, among the people that you've come with, any expertise or corporate executive in your delegation who have come to, explore potential in Zambia?
First of all, this time, no Japanese company accompanied foreign Minister Motegi, but since the visit of President of Zambia last February of last year, we have had already 3 rounds of the business forum between 2 countries, and last March, Japanese business mission have visited Zambia in order to discuss or explore the possibility of co-creation, co-business between two sides. So we would like to encourage this kind of movement among the private sectors. So yes, this is the current status. But since our diet is now deliberating so-called the investment agreement between 2 countries, and if this is adopted or approved by the Japanese Diet, I think that will contribute a lot to facilitate the business exchange between 2 countries.
Okay. 49 countries attended the 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development, and President Hakainde Hichilema was one of the heads of state who attended that conference. Any outcomes that will affect Zambia?
So we have, we have a long list of the outcomes of that TICAD 9. So I cannot enumerate just one thing, but I'd like to rather share the basic idea, basic principle of this TICAD initiative. So now that, as you pointed out, the private sector is becoming more influential in terms of fortifying the relationship between two countries. So we'd like to mobilize that power of the private sector in order to address the challenge of African countries. So we need the sustainable development here in Africa. So the theme of the TICAD meeting was co-creating the innovative solutions between two sides. So we are not teacher of African countries, rather the partner of African countries' development. So by working together hand in hand, we'd like to address the challenge of African countries as well as the challenge of the Japan, because African countries have some strongness or advantage in addressing some part of the questions. So we'd like to explore the areas of cooperation between two sides in order to address those common challenges between two sides. So that is a basic notion, so basic principle that we have focused on this TICAD 9th meeting. So this once again, this is a co-partnership based on the African ownership and partnership with international community, namely Japan.
As we close our interview, is there any information that you'd like to share with our viewers before we close?
Foreign Minister Motegi is now going to visit after Zambia and the Angola and Kenya. And in Kenya, we have announced so-called FOIP initiative. That is acronym Free and Open in the Pacific. So in order to realize that FOIP, we need cooperation. Please edit later on. So FOIP is a kind of the initiative to realize the international order based on rule of law, not only in the Pacific region, but also Indian Ocean region, including Africa. So we'd like to strengthen this kind of connection, interlinkness between two regions. So, but since 10 years have passed since the launch of this initiative, our Prime Minister is going to announce the FOIP version 2, evolution of FOIP. And based on that, our Foreign Minister Motegi is going to make a speech on our new policy toward Africa. So since before the speech, I cannot disclose the content of that speech, but we, as a Japan, we'd like to strengthen our commitment, our cooperation with African countries in order to address the global challenges, including this unstable supply chain or climate change issues, etc., etc.
Thank you so much for offering this interview to us. Yeah. Thank you. Well, viewers, this is where we end Zambia Today program, where we featured Mr. Toshihiro Kitamura, the Foreign Press Secretary, Chief Spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Japan. On behalf of the entire Zanes production team, my name is Alice Banda saying goodbye. God bless you.